There are two BattleToads games released on the SNES, BattleToads Double Dragon and BattleToads and BattleManiacs. In today's video, we'll be seeing if any of them are worth playing today. We'll be covering them in order of release date. Let's get into it. First released is BattleToads and BattleManiacs, and just look at this sweet cover. If I was in a rental store, I would for sure pick this up. Never mind, maybe it would get lost in the back room somehow if I worked there myself. It's a sequel to the original BattleToads released on the NES and is somewhat of a remake-ish kinda? Yeah, that's not even a word, I just made that up. Now right off the bat, you could tell that this was given the 16-bit treatment because it looks and feels great. The sprites are at least doubled in size from what the NES had to offer. You'll be smashing up pigs right off the bat with your over-exaggerated moves. Check out this fist turning into a hammer, or watch when you run and smash into an enemy with your ginormous ram horns. If you look closely, the stages will look similar to the NES game. It's got different layouts, but mainly the same challenge. I did like the beat 'em up stages, but the ones that were just platforming really make you put in way too much time to memorize. You also needed some ridiculously fast reaction times. Just look at the Turbo Tunnel version 2. Why did they have to put this as the third level of the game? It takes an insane amount of time to remember and practice this. Keep in mind that you'll be dying and retrying as much as you can, which you only get 3 lives, 2 continues, and that's it. Game over. There is a cheat code that gives you 5 lives and 5 continues instead, which I'll leave in the description. But even with that, this has to be one of the top 10 hardest Super Nintendo games of all time. There are a couple of bonus stages where you're riding a checkers piece, avoiding these rats while knocking down, pins? Even the frickin' bonus stages are challenging. You can't catch a break. The soundtrack designer, who produced other classic Rare games such as Donkey Kong Country and David Wise, is really gritty and almost helps you to not get frustrated by the amount of times you'll be retrying since the soundtrack is really that great. Could you imagine a game this difficult that also has a terrible soundtrack? There's also only 2 bosses in the entire game. You have the first stage boss and then the final boss. Anything in between takes away from the standard beat your enemies to a pulp, face a boss, and repeat, and that's what you want in a good beat 'em up. I don't know, it's hard to give BattleToads and BattleManiacs a green light because it lacks being a traditional beat 'em up. Next we have BattleToads Double Dragon The Ultimate Team. Hey, they shrunk down the sprites, what's up with that? I mean, the graphics are definitely a step up from the ones on the Nintendo, but it would have been nice to at least keep the same sprite sizes as in the first Super Nintendo game. So let's set this straight, is it a BattleToads game or a Double Dragon game? To me, it looks like a solid BattleToads game with Double Dragon playable characters. Keep in mind, each of the characters plays the exact same no matter which side you're on. It's not like the BattleToads are slower but more powerful, and the dragons move faster but do less damage, which would have been nice to see. It's still got that tough but at least manageable difficulty. I would say that BattleToads Double Dragon is the easier of the two, even if it has its own variation of the motorbike stage, which can still be really frustrating at times, making you want to throw your controllers across the room. The good news is there's a level select password that can at least help you play through the stages that you're stuck on and practice. This helps offset the difficulty of repeating the stages when starting from the beginning. Gone are most of the more frustrating platforming levels, and you get a ton of well-rounded beat 'em up stages where you're picking up giant robot legs and smashing enemies over the head with them, or ramming guys off the screen with your bullhorns. Taking away from the standard beat 'em up levels was this stage where you're in a spaceship having to shoot down other ships. It plays a lot like Asteroids on Atari and feels like it's paying homage. In terms of bosses, there are a lot more bosses to see here. I like seeing that most stages ended in a boss battle, and the reactions on their faces when the bosses arrive are just priceless. David Wise was back at it again with the hot jams in BattleToads Double Dragon. Man, this guy was on fire with every game he composed. I also wanted to mention that both BattleToads and BattleManiacs, as well as BattleToads Double Dragon, are both 2 players, where one mode friendly fire is on and one where friendly fire is off. Gosh, come on, these games are hard enough. Are we really going to bother with making sure to stay out of your co-op partner's way to not ram them off the screen? So yeah, always choose mode B if you're at least going to attempt to play this with someone. To me, I do think that both of the BattleToads games on the Super Nintendo are very playable games. BattleToads Double Dragon feels like the more complete game and would be my go-to choice if you put me in a corner and made me choose. I'm the Retro Kingpin, thanks for watching.